This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
So, let's get into some stuff. Dolphins wise, let's get into a couple things that we were able to unearth over the last couple of days. And I will tell you this, a couple things. First of all, to kind of get you guys going, Tua is not going anywhere. Okay. So those of you that want to cut Tua, trade Tua, whatever it is, I don't really care. Deal with it. It is what it is. You can complain all you want. He's not going anywhere. And expect a new contract. Okay? So there will be a contract. There will be a long-term contract. They will open up the cap space this year out of his fifth-year option. And so expect that to happen. Whether you like it or not, that's going to be the case. Mike McDaniel not getting fired. You're not bringing in any other coach or anything like that. So if you want to also think about that, that's not going to happen. I don't believe, okay, I have not been able to confirm this, but from what I've been able to unearth, okay, there'll be he's going to call the plays next year. Okay. He will be the play caller once again. Okay. From everything I'm hearing, that's kind of the case. The Fangio stuff, I have not. They're kind of taking care of everything with the players all throughout this week and weekend, I think. And then next week, they meet with the coaches. So they really have not met with Fangio yet. And to find out where he is, so if he's coming back or not, I cannot confirm that. I can't tell you that he is, and I can't tell you that he isn't. Okay? That I'm not exactly sure. I wasn't able to unearth that information. It's hard to kind of really read. They can't even reach the old man. You know what I'm saying? So the old man's going to do what he wants to do at his own pace. So it is that. Okay? So don't expect Greer to go anywhere. Don't expect McDaniel to go anywhere. Don't expect Tua to go anywhere. And expect Tua to get his contract extension. Okay? That's all going to happen. All right? And then we move on to some of the things. We told you X would be released 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we told you that Byron Jones will be released last offseason and that X will be released in 2 years. Okay? Time's up. It'll happen. Just like David said, post-June, that kind of stuff. So I don't expect him to come back. I do expect Rob Hunt to be signed. I do expect Connor Williams to come back also. Okay? There's a lot of love in that building and a lot of respect for Connor Williams. Just like there's a lot of love and a lot of respect for Liam Eichenberg. Okay? They like Liam Eichenberg in that building. And they feel like he played well, considering he was all screwed up and playing with one leg, basically. They thought he actually did a really good job in the worst scenario possible because he was banged up. So I expect those guys to come back. I expect the offensive linemen to come back. I really do. I think there'll be some negotiations going on with Holland. Okay? I think that you'll see Holland either get his contract or somehow start playing on it, but kind of they're in the middle of the negotiations and in the season or whatever. But I think they're going to do whatever it takes to get Holland signed. They like him. Now, safeties are a little tricky because you can't have a safety get too crazy on you salary-wise. But the safety salaries aren't normally that crazy as it is. So I expect Holland to get his contract one way or another, but eventually he will be here. His future is here. They like him a lot. As for Christian Wilkins, as I told you before, and I pretty much read the room the right way, what I've been telling you for a while now, I pretty much confirmed it this week. He's not going to be back. Okay? And there'll be no tag because I've heard other people either write or talk about it that they'll tag Wilkins. There will be no tag. Listen to me. There will be no tag. There will be no tag for Christian Wilkins. Are we clear on that? Okay. They have so many things that they have to take care of. Tags are not going to be part of the mix this offseason. Do you know why? Because that's a hard cap number. And you can't play with that number. So you can't all of a sudden guarantee 50, 75% of it and push it back because there's nothing to push back. You have to, if it's a 9, an 11, a $25 million number, it's locked in. And because they have to pay some of these people that I just talked about, okay, they're not going to be able to also throw a tag out there at the same time. And especially for a defensive tackle. Last year, they made Christian Wilkins a fair deal, they felt. Their final deal, they felt, was a fair deal. And yet they wanted more. Okay? And so, if you want Quinnen Williams type money, they're not going to pay you Quinnen Williams type money. And to be completely honest, as I've mentioned, I'm being consistent. Have I not been consistent when I say this? I know you're already nodding, but I haven't said it yet. But he didn't come up big in most of all the big games except one, Buffalo, that he made the one play. All the other sacks came against all the bad teams. He disappeared in the Kansas City game, in both Kansas City games. Okay, he disappeared in the earlier Buffalo game. He disappeared in the Philly game. He wasn't a factor in any of the big games. I don't see the Miami Dolphins giving Christian Wilkins the kind of money that it's more than double of what they're paying Zach Sealer. I just don't see it. So that's free money because that was a $20 million tag that he played on this year. That ain't going to happen anymore. So that's $20 million that you're freeing up. X, you're freeing up a bunch of money. Agba, you're freeing up a bunch of money. And then Tua, you're freeing up a bunch of money. And then if you want to rework any of the other ones, the Armstead one would be one that I don't rework. Okay? Because he's already contemplating retirement. You don't want to push any more money back. You kind of want to let this ride as it is so you can get out. I believe the Armstead one, I think you're 2 years out from the window to get out from him. I believe because of the money you guaranteed earlier with him, I think it would have been next year, but I think now it's been pushed. Maybe you can look it up for me, but it's been pushed back 2 more years where you can get out, and the dead cap money is not nearly as bad. So at least you have a little bit more flexibility. Okay. Some of the things also, Mike McDaniel is very well aware of his mistakes. Potential out at 2025. Okay, so actually it's after the 2024 season they will have an out. I thought it was the 2025 season. My bad. So even better. So that's why you don't guarantee this year anything, because then you would delay that and you would make that dead cap number even worse. So after next season, you can get out of Teron Armstead. I think either he retires and doesn't take the money and then you get the break, or he plays out one more year and then you can then move off from that contract. But I think you've got Teron Armstead. Now that I saw that, you've got him at least on the roster for one more year, and then you're going to get out. Kendall Lamb will be a guy you have to bring back, by the way. You have to bring back Kendall Lamb. Big time. That's why I'm telling you they're going to need the money. And so the Wilkins thing, they're going to have to draft another defensive tackle is what they're going to have to do. And they're going to have to try to find another one. They found Sealand. They found Wilkins. They got to go find another young tackle. And that first round pick at 21 will either be a defensive tackle, an offensive lineman, tackle, at 21, he's got to be a superstar stud guard. Although you might want to come back with the guards you have, plus Isaiah Wynn was actually playing all right before he got injured. But it'll either be a D lineman, an O lineman. It will not be a tight end, because from what I've looked at now, there's no tight end at that spot. The Brock Bowers kid is going to go earlier. The Georgia kid will go like in the top 10, top 12. He's not going to last to 21. and there's no other first-round tight end. So it's not going to be a tight end. It'll be a D lineman, it'll be an O lineman, or if there's a really special linebacker. Again, it's got to be a really special linebacker to take him at number 21, you know? So that, to me, is some of the things. Now, the McDaniel stuff. McDaniel knows the criticism, and he's also very critical of himself, okay? And in fact, from what I'm hearing, you remember how I talked about that play 2 weeks ago that Tyreek didn't catch the ball, that clearly the point hit, but the replay wasn't there, and they weren't rushing to the line to try to get the snap off and don't let the coach challenge, right? He took that really hard, from what I'm told. And so he's been very self-critical, okay, of himself and things that are going on. That's what I'm told. Now, see, here's my problem with all of that. When I'm told that by a couple of people, then I tell them, okay, he told me he was going to commit to the run and stay with it, and then he didn't. And he continued to, at times, abandon the run. You know what I mean? So how do I know that he's okay? He's self-critical. He feels guilty. I get all of that, but are you really going to correct it? And that's kind of my counter to the people in the building was like, is he really going to correct? And they feel he is. They feel that, he takes this shit really seriously and that he knows that he's got to fix some of this stuff. We'll see. But for those of you that might, because we've seen coaches that might act like, I don't care. I don't care what you guys think. And, whatever this, that. No, he's taking it to heart is what I'm told. So that is something that I like to hear. But again, I got to go by your track record. You told me you were going to do this and you apologized to Mostert, and yet there is a key game, and here's Mostert giving you 4 straight great runs, and you get to 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, and you tell Mostert to go screw himself. And you just apologize to this man in the offseason because that's exactly what you did to him last year. So, I don't know to believe you or not. So I have to see you really correct it, and then I'll believe you, And so those are some of the things that I was able to unearth from the building, which I hope can help you guys understand a little bit about what's going on. And they will be able to easily open up all the cap space that they need to do anything that they want to do. So anything that the media told you, that cap hole is coming and all that, they have to get crafty, sure, but they can easily manage it. So anybody in the media that told you, oh my God, they're going to have trouble, no, they're not. They'll be fine this year, and I think they'll be fine again next year. It's 3 years from now that I really worry about, the credit card, then you have to. So you've got about 2 years left to really take advantage of this team and this run before you really got to pay the piper, and it's going to be a problem. Okay. But it'll be interesting. It'll be see, the one thing I will tell you is I'm really excited about the offseason, believe it or not, because I do believe they have flexibility. And I talked to a couple of agents, friends of mine in the league. None of them have players on the team. Okay. I did that on purpose. I called guys that I know that don't have any players on the team. And so I said, hey, man, what's Miami look like to you? And he goes, man, I got guys that want to go there. And so there's buzz from every agent that I talk to pretty much. They understand the craziness that happened and how it finished. But they all like the vibe and they all want to play here. A lot of people. So you're going to have a nice buzz around the league from agents and players that are going to try to fit the Dolphins in their mix one way or another, even if a team is offering a little bit more money. But this place actually looks sexy to some people out there. So that was actually a cool thing, reaching out to some agents that don't have players here. You know, I had one guy who was like, man, I can't believe they didn't do better and all that. And he goes, I love the team, but there's no doubt that they underachieved. And I couldn't argue with him. You know, personally for me, I think this season was a disaster. You know, I don't care about the individual stats and all that. I need you to perform at a high level and start winning playoff games. I need you to start beating the Buffalo Bills on a consistent basis. You know, I got some standards. They were set by Shula. So, you know, the Dolphins of the last 25, 30 years have got a lot of catching up to reach to my standards. So let's hope they can fix it this offseason and get it back on track.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.